Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. I'm Suchishmita, and today I'm delighted to welcome you to our webinar, Elevate Your Supply Chain Transitioning from SAP Advanced Planning Optimization to SAP IBP. In today's session, we will be exploring the exciting journey of transitioning from SAP APO to SAP IBP. In this webinar, we will dive into real customer use cases, the role of AI in SAP IBP, and best practices approaches to managing this transition. We will be joined by Anchal Sood, who is the Director of Global COE for Digital Supply Chain from SAP. And from Westernacher, we will be joined by two experts, Selin J and Srijith Ravindran. Selin has over 25 years of experience in SAP and IT, and Srijith has over a decade of experience in solution and in SAP supply chain planning. We will be encouraging you to ask your questions throughout the session. You can send out the questions through the chat, and we'll be having a dedicated Q&A session towards the end. So over to you, Selin.
Thank you, Suchi. Okay, so I would like to give a small introduction about our organization. So Westernacher is a globally leading SAP consulting organization with over 1,100 experts, generating a revenue of around about $125 million per year. We have a legacy of 55 years of innovation and a commitment to sustainability as a carbon neutral company since 2021. What differentiates Westernacher from the other organizations is that we are a 100% employee-owned organization. As a trusted SAP partner for over 3 decades, we are pioneers in transformative technologies such as S/4HANA, ERP and finance, enterprise warehouse management, transport management, yard logistics, and others. Our recognized proficiency extends to analytics, planning, and manufacturing cloud solutions. We also hold an expert competency level recognition in the ERP and the supply chain management domains. Established in 1969, Westernacher Consulting is now headquartered at Heidelberg, Germany. We have our offices in 32 cities across 25 countries. All of us work with one vision, that's non-stop innovation. We ensure the stability, efficiency, and continuity of the business processes even after implementation of the systems and providing solutions. This involves providing support, maintenance, monitoring activities, and other things also. To address all these issues, we address the issues promptly, and we ensure smooth operations without any disruptions. This is made possible because of our presence throughout the globe, including Europe, Americas, Asia, and Middle East. Westernacher drives innovation and provides comprehensive end-to-end business solutions across diverse industries, including customer goods, industrial machinery and components, logistics services, retail, wholesale, automotive, life sciences, chemicals, raw materials, oils and gas, etc., etc. I would like to hand it over to Anchal Sood from SAP, who would be highlighting on now is the real ideal time to transition from APO to IBP. Over to you, Anchal.
Thanks, Selin. Hello, everyone. My name is Anchal Sood. I'm part of Global Center of Excellence for Digital Supply Chain at SAP. So when we are discussing planning, let me take a step back and quickly set up a context. Today, global supply chains have become very complex, and we are generating this huge amount of data. We are so interconnected and complex in the nature of supply chains that you have a disruption in one part of geography for a particular supply chain. It could be parts shortage, it could be a small production line is down, and there are cascading effects across multi-tiers of supply chain. In this interconnected and interdependent world, decision making relies on accurate and on-time information. It is not a question of whether disruption will occur at a global or a local level. Disruptions occur, but one, do we have visibility? So that is where accurate and on-time information and data come into play. And second is, do we have ability to quickly come up with what are the viable options? What is the plan B and plan C? And for this, This is to recognize we do need on-time information from this multi-tier supply chain. And today it is not only about sensing demand and meeting the demand profitably. It is also to take into account economic viability as well as sustainability goals when we are taking supply chain decisions. So in this context, let's look at different levels of supply chains. The foundational level is digitalization. This is where supply chain processes, end-to-end supply chain processes, we provide tools and softwares to digitalize from design, planning, manufacture, delivering the goods, operating the assets. We provide these solutions. So this is basically providing you better control, better data, better visibility, and most important of all, it prepares your supply chain for the next level. What is this next level? This is where we are able to have truly adaptive supply chains, in the sense that with the changes happening around, being able to sense them, being able to have digital is the prerequisite, but able to leverage predictive analytics, big data, able to leverage generative AI, get decision making based on simulation. So these are the concurrent adaptive technologies that we are including in our solutions that will help supply chains to move to the next stage, be prepared with a digital view, and then be adaptive. And what we are working towards, and our vision, is to support autonomous supply chains, which are self-correcting, self-governing. Decision making is there, and planners can focus on the critical tasks. So how do we go about this journey? When I narrow down to supply chain planning itself, this is our digital business planning platform, where we have our cloud application, SAP Integrated Business Planning, with various modules, which later our colleague from Westernacher, Srijith, will be going in more details. But basically, within SAP Integrated Business Planning, you have different modules, where based on your prioritization, based on your issues that you are facing and the prioritization, you can start in a modular way, be it with sales and operation planning, demand planning, and then move towards full digitization of the planning processes. And this is tightly integrated with S/4HANA as well as the execution processes, starting from a long-term planning to coming up to execution. And while we are doing this, we do recognize that supply chains are not limited to own organization. It extends beyond. And that is where having access to business network and being able to get full visibility of supply chain, and not only the part of supply chain that your organization manages. So this is where the business planning platform I wanted to introduce to all of you. And let's look at planning itself. What encompasses, what is the scope of planning that we are talking about? When we talk of synchronized planning, we are starting at a high level at a strategic planning. This is typical 2 to 3 year horizon, and being able to take decisions in this horizon on whether additional capacity is required, whether we have more suppliers, what is the business plan looking like, what are the expansion plans, and being able to leverage tools like rough cut capacity planning, sales and operation planning. We basically bring all the inputs from cross-functional team, be it financial planning, sales planning, operational planning, and bring all these inputs onto common platform, come up with a strategic plan for the organization. This closely ties into and provides guardrail to the operational plan. And within operational plan in SAP IBP, we support you with creation of master production schedule, with allocation planning, with the distribution planning, which is deployment and load building. And the work of planning doesn't stop there. This is closely tied with execution itself. Did we get the material we ordered? Were we able to produce the quantities, and what is the adjustment to be required? Because real world execution influences the plan if we are working towards our objectives. And this synchronized planning, right from long term to mid term to closely tied with execution of what is happening now and what adjustment this reality brings into the plan. This is what is included in SAP IBP as a part of synchronized planning. So we talked of digitalization. I introduced SAP IBP and the modules to you. how do we get adaptive? And one of the most exciting technological change that all of us are witnessing is use of AI. How do we leverage AI and the scope of what how it can help supply chain? There is tremendous scope, from day-to-day working to generating insights to predictive algorithms. So we are looking at AI to be able to manage risk and disruptions, to be able to automate processes and base decisions not on a generic insights from generic tools, but based on your enterprise information, and able to make these outcome-based decisions. So this is what the scope of how we can leverage AI. And within IBP, I want to introduce Joule, our generative AI solution. This you will see across SAP applications that we have this co-pilot called SAP Joule. And when we are looking at leveraging AI, this is at two levels I want to call out. One is traditional AI, where we are leveraging machine learning in algorithms like inventory optimization, in demand planning, and I'll touch upon some of more of such planning algorithms. And wrapping around it is the usability part. Now it is not about planners having a long learning curve and only few experts able to use advanced planning algorithms. We are at a day and age where it is very simple and it is becoming more and more simpler to use these advanced applications. And that is where Joule and generative AI play a great role. This will help you. Where Joule can immediately help you in planning is explanation of what is happening. There is promise and summarization. There is basically transactional, navigational, and informational. These are the three categories where Joule will support supply chain planners. And for this, I have a preview to you. With this preview, I want to share with you, please do note the usability, how life of planners is changing between legacy applications to you being able to use AI, and how the learning curve is really coming down. So here, let me share with you this video that will give you a preview of how we are leveraging Joule in supply chain planning.
She opens Joule and uses normal language to ask how she would introduce a new product. Joule quickly provides the precise answer that Laura needs. Joule also displays a list of links to where Laura can find more information. Each link includes a short description that helps her decide which ones to read. This saves Laura a lot of time trying to figure out where to find additional information. Laura selects the first link and is taken to the exact location in the SAP Help portal for new product introductions. While she was reading the help documentation, Laura came across the term launch dimension, which she doesn't understand. Instead of researching the term herself, she just asked Joule to explain what a launch dimension is. Joule quickly responds with a description of a launch dimension. After reading the explanation, Laura now understands the concept. Joule is trained on all the details of SAP solutions, so Laura asks a broader question regarding what else she can do with the Managed Product Lifecycle app. The generative AI assistant quickly responds with a number of bullet points identifying the main capabilities in the app. Again, Joule provides a list of links for Laura to further her investigation and knowledge.
So this is a very quick preview of when we talk of being able to use Joule in planning. This is where the best of both worlds, right? You have advanced algorithms available in a cloud application, which is very easy to use itself. And now the new age planners are able to have a conversation with the system, have a co-pilot that truly understands the IBP application. In the video, when they say what is the launch dimension, it's an IBP term. So rather than doing a generic search, being able to get insights into what a particular feature is, how to use it, what are the directional, so whether it's navigational search, whether it is getting insights into planning, this is where we have a lot of use cases already available and more that we are working on. So in terms of very exciting, more planned innovations, we have this conversational search and advice I already shared with you. Very interesting is explanation of planning results. How much time as a planner would you spend in trying to understand why certain forecast looks this way, why do we have this peak, or having a result, certain demand was not met, why was it not met? So these faster insights, having Joule explain to you why in a certain situation, certain optimizer has taken certain decision. In addition, being able to do what if scenario planning and use Joule's assistance to analyze both scenarios. And even in execution, like sometimes planners, based on the latest changes in supply chain, you need to take certain quick actions. So here again, we are developing functionalities where you'll be able to direct to Joule and be able to create certain orders or create data in the system based on the planner's own authorization and control. So this is a preview. For example, in this example, what are the options, if a certain product is not available or we have shortage, and have Joule come to you with the with options of, you could increase resource capacity, you could improve your planning horizon, or you could explore alternative suppliers. So instead of planner having to figure out, this is where we are leveraging power of generative AI, where Joule becomes your true co-pilot, helping you navigate, helping you get information or transactional or navigational guidance right in the application. And all this, not only the documents and information available in the IBP application, but also any of your organization's document that you want to include, so as to have a holistic view of situation and the options available. And as I mentioned earlier, it is not only, so Joule is one part of it which encompasses the usability, and here we leverage power of generative AI. But there are a lot of other areas within IBP where we are leveraging AI and machine learning. Few of them you won't experience it, but it's happening in background. For example, allocating elastic computing nodes as needed based on the load on the system, or being able to detect performance issues. If the job is running too long, what is the reason for it? What are the job outliers? So these are some background functionalities where we are using machine learning. And as a user, a few more call outs that I want to share with you is master data. Now, in terms of quality of planning, master data is very important, but as a planner, that's not your core job. This is where we can learn pattern recognition in master data, machine learning algorithm, and get recommendations to fix incorrect master data. Another very interesting use case is about supply lead time calculation. Lead time may be 3 days in the system, and the whole supply chain planning calculation is working to that. But with integration with S/4HANA, if we take out the data of actual lead time and be able to use machine learning to predict what the lead time actually should be in your master data, and in future, what is the pattern and what predictions we are seeing. So this is where, instead of working on assumptions, planning can get real with recommendations from actual data, how it influences planning and the calculations that it depends on. Similarly, there are areas like within demand planning, you have ability to integrate any external data, be it industry data, be it weather data, any of these services, you are able to include it into demand plan. And likewise, in inventory planning, in supply planning, we are continuously innovating and investing heavily in leveraging machine learning, so that based on the data and the whole burden of running applications getting output, system is able to support planners on this. And one more noticeable AI ML feature is with integration with Everstream and Cosmotech, we are able to get within your planning applications all the events and disruptions, risks that affect your supply chain. So this is a risk dashboard which is able to call out what are the probabilities of what is happening, when is it happening, and how does it influence your supply chain. So this is where this was a very quick overview, but what I wanted to share with you is the investment we are making, all the exciting functionalities of AI ML that we are infusing into planning application. And very important to note, this is where the relevant, reliable, and responsible AI is available in your day-to-day planning application. You don't have to use an external tool, but have a AI generative AI agent, as well as you have the machine learning capabilities right within the application SAP integrated business planning. With this, I invite Srijith to walk us through some more details of the functionalities and the power of SAP Integrated Business Planning application.
Hope you all can see my screen. So I'm Srijith from Westernacher with overall 12 plus years of experience. So I started my journey as well in APO first, then moved to IBP. So I have seen IBP for last 7 years. I was part of implementation projects for last 7 years. I have seen how IBP has evolved, along with the technological evolution happening on machine learning and artificial intelligence. So today, the main focus, I'm going to cover a few more points to add to what Anchal has already covered. And there will be also a system demo where I showcase, how day in life of a planner will be. And also some points related to APO to IBP migration. So let's get started. So as of today, we are almost end of 2024. In our day-to-day work itself, we have started using generative AI a lot, which makes us work smarter and maybe becoming more productive in our work. So what should not happen is that there is a lot happening on the technology side, and if you are not making the switch on the right time, maybe we are getting trapped in that particular value, which we are not able to utilize it, right? So that is where we have to start thinking about, is it the right time to move towards more advanced cloud solution for planning? So the future, if we look forward, IBP is a future-ready solution. It's based on cloud. Any new technical or technological advancement happening in the market will be by default installed in your IBP solution. So there will be quarterly upgrades happening by SAP. It's a cloud solution. It will be automatically upgraded every quarter. We'll talk about that more on the coming slides. So what is IBP? IBP is more user-friendly. You can have your own customization of your screens. The way you want to use the system can be all done. We can do a lot of scenario planning, and when it comes to your SNOP planning, there will be a lot of things which is uncertain. Sudden increase of demand. Suddenly, our machines are not available for production. So all these things we can do scenarios, and we can see what are the possible mitigations we can do it. I will show you that in the demo, and for sure, as Anchal was covered, a lot of machine learning and AI is already embedded within our IBP system. So let's have a look at the IBP system holistically. What are the modules available within IBP? So starting with demand planning, we have inventory optimization, sales and operation planning, DDMRP, and we also have response and supply. We have our execution system S4 or ECC, where we have our production planning, ATPs, PPDS, and MRP available. So this complete planning and execution system is covered under the layer of control tower, where you get alerts. Any alerts in your supply chain network will be alerted to you, and you can easily navigate to the alerts and fix it. So that is also part of the demo, which I'll be covering soon. On top of it, we have the business network, where you can interact with your suppliers, anyone outside your internal supply chain team. Let's say whether it is passing on to the requirements of raw materials, the suppliers, and getting a soft commit from them. Everything can be done. That's all belonging to the SAP business network. Let's get into a little bit more details of each of the modules within IBP. This will help for you to compare, what you have in APO and what is IBP offering. Sales and operation planning, when we talk about in IBP, for sure, we know it's mainly done to optimize your business plan and increase your market share. So it's a midterm to long-term plan. Basically, let's say we talk about 2 years of plan. We do planning to mitigate foresee any risk that can happen in future. Are we aligned with our budgeting plan? How we are going to operate it? Do we see any outages happening? Do we see any bottlenecks? Should we act upfront so that we can mitigate all those risks? That's mainly covered in sales and operation planning. Coming to demand planning, this is where we have a lot of historical data. System is going to run a lot of machine learning, and on those historical sales give you the more accurate forecast. And there are also AI features embedded, kind of automatic outlier correction, and give you the best fit forecast model. So all the demand planning related functionalities, which also includes new product introduction, which comes under product lifecycle management, also detection of time series properties, all come under demand planning. Talking about inventory optimization and also demand-driven replenishment, these two are mostly focusing on your inventory management, the safety stock. So how can you have an efficient inventory which will maximize your working capital and also your customer service level? So that's mostly taken care by inventory optimization module and the demand-driven replenishment. Response and supply is the order-based planning part of IBP. So in APO, demand planning is time series, and when it comes to supply planning, everything is order-based, where you have your supply planning run. In IBP, you can have demand planning in time series, also supply planning in under the SNOP as time series, because we are not focusing on day-to-day orders, but on a mid to long term, we are looking at on volume based, how much we are going to produce, are we able to supply it as per the demand. When it comes to response and supply, it's more operational level for a short-term planning, where we are actually considering the real orders, and we do the same pegging of demand and supply in this particular module. We have SAP S4 ECC, where we have the execution. We have the control tower, as I said, where all the alerts are managed, and the business network, where we can collaborate with our suppliers. So what you can expect after implementing SAP IBP? Just a quick check. I get an error on my video cam. Sorry for that. Okay, so what you can expect as the KPI increase implementing IBP? On the revenue side, you can expect a growth of 1 to 2%. And these records are taken from the case studies of Gartner and benchmark from SAP Value Engineering. And in stock improvement, we can expect 20 to 30%. Same with service level, we should have an increase of 5 to 10%. On the operating cost, the main advantage is that the improved planner productivity with the latest technologies and tools available, we can expect 20 to 30% improvement in the planner's productivity. When it comes to the order fulfillment, same 10 to 20%. Inventory carrying cost reduction 5 to 10%. And on the asset utilization and working capital, we can expect 5 to 15% reduction in the inventory levels, and inventory turns increases, as well as the cash flow, the cash conversion cycle reduction will be increased by 5 to 10%. Okay, now let's focus on the advantages of IBP over APO. We already talked a lot about embedded AI and machine learning. We talked about SNOP, where you can actually foresee any risk and act upfront using the what-if scenarios available, which I'll showcase in the demo. Demand sensing, mainly focusing on the short term. It's basically adjusting your forecasted value according to the market fluctuations or any other external factors that can affect your demand plan. We have a separate inventory optimization module in IBP, which basically help you increase your customer target service levels by maintaining the optimal safety stock across your locations. We can do what-if scenarios, create scenarios, and simulate a lot of things. We have synchronized planning. When we talk about synchronized planning, it's the end-to-end planning. We have a plan in IBP. We send it to S4, where maybe it is, if you have PPDS, the complete production planning and detailed scheduling is done over S4. The same results flow back to IBP, and everything works synchronized. So we have it's a real-time data synchronization happening. We also have a module now in IBP called as MRO. It is mainly used for those industries which are heavy on machinery and assets, which requires a lot of maintenance and repair to make it running. For example, mining industry. So we have that module as well now in IBP. We call this IBP for MRO, maintenance, repair, and operations. And one of the most advanced features is that user experience, right? You are not using a rigid screen, very flexible screen you can access from mobile. There are multiple ways to look at the data. Like in APO, you call it a planning book. So here in IBP, you have multiple ways of interacting with the data. There is an Excel-based interface similar to planning book. We also have a web-based planning view or a planning book, which you can interact with the data we have in the cloud. We talked about control tower, the alert management. We have analytic stories. This is also one of the key differentiator in IBP. So you might have heard about SAP Analytics Cloud. A small portion of it is embedded in IBP itself, which also I will cover soon in the demo, where you can create advanced, analytics, dashboards, and charts with your data, for which will be useful for your internal review meetings. There is a touchless planning, or we call it as the process management, the end-to-end process of your organization, starting from gathering the data for the planning, running of demand planning, capturing the market inputs, arriving at consensus, passing it on to the supply planning run, reviewing it with the plant manager, finalizing the results. The complete process within your organization can be automated. Wherever you need approval steps, we can have it. If not, you can completely automate the process. System will give you alerts if something is due from, let's say you are the one who is supposed to approve the marketing input. You are the one responsible for entering the sales forecast and approve it. So you will get notifications. You will get notifications even in Microsoft Teams if it is integrated, so that this particular task is due on you and you can act fast, and the S&OP process will be smooth, streamlined compared to your current setup. Talking about integration, we can have IBP integrated with SAP as well as non-SAP systems. It's way easier because by default we get the SAP IBP add-ons, which we just need to install on our ECC or S4 system. And by default, we have a starting point for integration. We for sure need to have some filters to be adjusted for fine-tuning the data that should flow to IBP, but we have a very good starting point for integration. So this applied for integrating PPDS, ePPDS, or transportation management module in S4, same with SAP Ariba for supplier collaboration, or if you want a separate extended analytic tool, we can integrate with SAP Analytics Cloud as well. So when you talk about innovations and technology, SAP is a cloud technology. I mean, IBP is a cloud technology. It's easily scalable, and we have quarterly innovations delivered, and you will be able to use it after every quarter. And on top of that, top of quarterly upgrades, we will also have a lot of hot fixes which will improve the current functionalities, which will be delivered over the weekends. On top of it, if you as a customer require that rarely happens. Let's say you have a requirement which is not currently supported, you can request SAP through the Influence Innovation Portal, and SAP will look into it and deliver as well, along with the quarterly upgrades. With that, I would like to start the demo session, which you will be more interested to see it and feel how the IBP system looks like. So what I'm going to do the demo now is, as a planner, what I'll be doing once I have the IBP system live. So let's assume I'm a supply planner and I log into the system, and I want to start with the process of manage by exception. I don't want to go into the system and look so much into the data and figure out what's going on. So let's get started. So this is the interface, the web interface of IBP. So I'm opening a Fiori app called as Intelligent Visibility. This is part of the control tower functionality. And I get to see the full view of the geographical map where all I have my plans, DCs, and it also gives you the alerts. Now I can see there is 2 alerts popped up in one of my plant in the month of February and March. And what it says is I am overutilized. Instead of 100%, I can see I'm utilizing by 169%. So it's basically our normal heuristic run, which is showing you the bottlenecks. So at this point, I want to go to the planning book and look the details in much more detailed way. So what you see on screen now is our Excel interface. You can call it as planning book. This is the Excel view. Similarly, we have a web-based view as well. So first we will look into the Excel view, then we will go to the web interface. Okay, so I can see here also it is highlighted in the Feb and March. Capacity is overutilized, but at the same time I'm just switching the tabs in the Excel, and I'm seeing how much I'm producing for that particular product in that particular work center. And I could see that on the previous months I'm not fully utilizing my resources. I am only utilizing 58 and 60%. So as a planner, I can manually adjust it. I can manually tell system you produce more in the month of December and January, so I will have enough projected stock to cover the demand of the subsequent months. So I enter the values, how much system should produce, and I see the option of simulating here. I can simulate it. So when you simulate, what happens is system will run the planning in the background and give you results just on the screen. It is not overwriting any of your values. We are just simulating it. But there is another way of doing it. That is creating a scenario. You create a scenario. The moment you create a scenario, the complete data will be copied to a new layer, which is for you. You can add, make changes, anything. You can run jobs, but it will not overwrite the baseline data. You can create a new scenario. You can share it with your colleagues. If you're as a team supply planner, you want to do a scenario, let's say this particular scenario, which we can call it as pre-building or balancing the production. You can have it as a scenario, share it with your colleagues, and maybe present it in a supplier review meeting or a SNOP meeting. Take decision. Yeah, this is the way we should go forward, and you can copy the changes from the scenario back to the base version. It's very easy. So let's see how it has to be done. So let's give a name to the scenario. So I'm planning to give finite plan, or let's call it as finite plan pre-build. So just give that name, and you can see below all the team members' name available, whomever you wanted to share this scenario. So they will be also able to see this data. Click OK. Now system is copying the complete data from the baseline to the new scenario. And you can see here the scenario has come up here. So whatever you do now, it's on the scenario. Now I'm going to take another run, the normal heuristic run, unconstrained. Go to the options, choose the job, and click start. Now system is calculating the same full supply planning run, checking how much to produce. But here we have some adjustment. I'm telling system explicitly, you produce this much in the month of December, January, and February. We will be able to see the status in the Excel itself, the jobs which are running, what is the status of it. Once it is finished, the status will change it to finished. So let it run. Meanwhile, I would like to show you the web interface, the same planning book, how it will look in the web. So if you prefer working in Excel, you can do that. Or if you don't want to work on Excel, you prefer working from a tablet or a laptop on the Fiori app, you can use this feature. So there is a Fiori app called Planner Workspace. You open it, you see the same results what you see in Excel, you know, the capacity utilization, alert, and different tabs. Here also you will get to see the alerts generated. If you only open Planner Workspace, on the left hand side you see the alerts. You click on it, it will navigate to that particular planning view or the planning book where you can take action. You can see the scenario we just created in the Excel also here. So it's all connected. Why? Because it's a cloud solution. You can access it either from Excel or from web. It's the same data that you are going to see. So I can see now when I chose the finite plan, I can see the results already here. It's fully utilizing December, January, because I know I can produce 600 quantities. And going back to the Excel, same data, we can see it here. If you look at the status of the job we just started, we can see it has finished. And let's go to the capacity utilization, how it looks now. We see all the work centers, but just bring it down. So we can see that particular in-house production plan DE40. Now we are not having any alerts. So we are able to pre-build manually, and system is able to deliver the demand on time because we did the pre-building manually. But this is not advised to do it manually. Let's say as a planner that we are working with a lot of SKUs. I want system to do it automatically. So that is the next part we are going to demo. Let's run. Okay, so there is no alerts now, it's all gone. Okay, so as a next step, let's run an optimizer run or a finite heuristic, which is a constraint plan, which is a realistic plan. So how do we do it? Let's create a new scenario and take a run. Let system automatically do all the pre-building things, and we just need to review it. So let's do it from the web this time. So I'm creating a scenario, finite plan full. Now what we need to keep in mind is, I mean, our baseline, we still have the alert, but in the manual finite plan scenario, we have it sorted because of rebuilding. Now we are creating another scenario called finite plan full. We are running it for the fully automated by system. And we can actually compare all these 3 scenarios in one planning view. So that's easy it is. So we created a scenario. We can see here it's displaying all the scenarios. I can remove one of them and I'm comparing with baseline. So in the baseline, I still have the alerts, and also in the finite plan full, I have the alerts. Now let's take a run and see how system does the rebuilding. You shouldn't be worried how to click, so that will be all covered during the training, during the implementation of IBP. So there is an option to start the job from here, and you just need to see whether the job is completed. So you can actually choose the scenario which you have created. It's not required that it will not affect your baseline data. Okay, so it has scheduled. Same way in the Excel, you can see the data of alerts, also see the status of the jobs on the top. You can see currently it is running. Let's give it some time. You can see it was taking only 15 seconds, 16 seconds. So once it is finished, we will be able to review the results. Okay, so it has finished. I'm sorry. Once it is done, you can see now on the screen, system has automatically done the balancing. It has done the pre-building, and it will also check multiple other options. If you have your in-house production plan is completely utilized, system will also propose to have a vendor production plan, some planning to be done there. So it's all can be customized or can be controlled by the system itself. Another functionality is the analytics cloud, which is the analytics stories within IBP. I'll quickly show you how it looks in IBP. And if you need, for sure, you might need a detailed end-to-end demo covering more functionalities of IBP that we can cover one-on-one. So please feel free to reach out. Our contact details will be shared at the end. So if you open analytics stories in IBP, how it looks is you will be able to create a lot of dashboards of this fashion, starting from demand review. So you can have all your KPIs related demand planning on one page. It basically tells the complete story of your demand planning, how accurate your forecast is, how is your trend of actual sales happening. All can be viewed or can be created. This is something which you will be able to create by yourself with a small training from our side. Also on supply review side, the heat map, how your resources are utilized. With different filters, you will be able to drill down to the details and also take necessary actions there. Good, I think I'll stop the demo here and quickly touch upon some more facts you should be known about APO to IBP migration. So how do you decide which module to be picked? There are certain questions we need to ask ourselves, like what exactly we need to improve. Is it the forecast accuracy? Should I go with demand planning? Is it the customer service level? Should I go with inventory optimization? So this will be, as a starting point, we have to ask ourselves and map the relevant IBP modules. Okay, so similarly, we should be knowing SNOP have volume level planning, and in APO we had PPDS, SNP, and demand planning. But when it comes to IBP, we have more modules which we have to decide which one to take. The next question is, how do you implement IBP in parallel to having APO working full-fledged for your planning cycle? So we can choose multiple options to enhance it. Either you go with improving your current plan just by adding a demand planning module. So demand planning currently you have in APO, but still we can have demand planning in IBP and start using the IBP results and passing that information to your APO and let it run the remaining part. Or there can be another option, like we don't have inventory optimization currently in APO. Let's only leverage that module first. So that's another way of looking at it. Or you consolidate it. So there are multiple options available. We need to discuss and figure out what works best to avoid any disruptions on your current planning run. So this is something we can discuss and figure out which works best for you. The next question you might have in mind is how much time it will take for me to implement each of these modules. So what we have come up with is time to value solution for each of the modules, which we expect to be the standard implementation without much customization. So if you are looking at the time to value solution, demand planning, what we are looking at is up and running in 50 work days, which will be 135%, but if you calculate the work days, it's 50 work days. What are the scope covering in this is given here, all the basic functionalities of demand planning. Similarly, for SNOP, we can have it up and running in 85 working days. So here we'll be covering our unconstrained supply heuristic, mainly the one which shows the bottleneck, and planner will be able to do manual leveling. Inventory optimization, same way, in 65 working days, and order-based planning will take 85 working days to have the time to value solution implemented up and running. So as last point, I would also like to share some customer success stories where we have done APO to IBP migration and IBP implementation. So INEOS is a German-based company where we have implemented SNOP as well as MPS. So as a starting point, the planning was not harmonized. Everybody works in silos: demand planning team, supply planning team, the production team, and that was one of the key requirements, that everyone should be able to work collaboratively towards one common goal. So that is the starting point they had, and so the demand planning was completely done using Excel sheets. The sales representative come and tell this is what the demand going to look like. They directly pass it on to the production planning without a lot of collaborative inputs from finance, and also from the incorporating the marketing inputs. Also, there was no system-driven forecast, which would have added value as well. Right. So that was the main reason of INEOS, and expected benefit was have a unique set of data shared across all stakeholders, not having multiple set of data, improved forecast accuracy, and have a standardized planning process. So what is the best planning process that works best for that organization. Similarly, for electronics, we have done multi-tier inventory optimization and a global SNOP across. So we know it for now what exactly the challenges they might have faced. No visibility. They were having low target service level because of not maintaining the optimal safety stock. And global SNOP for sure bring a lot of structure, and it will help streamline the complete planning process. So the expected benefits were, establishment of standard planning process in the warehouses and improved planning quality. At the same time, to improve the customer target service levels, which will help the organization to grow. Good. With that, I will open stage for question and answers. If you have any, I'll go through the chat, and I'll also pass the control to you, Selin.
Thank you, Srijith. The question and answer forum is open now. If you have any questions, please send out through the chat. So we have a question. What training and support are available for users migrating from APO to IBP? Okay,
I'll take up that question. So SAP has provided a lot of help documents which will help help in supporting moving from APO to IBP. But as an implementation partner, we can also guide you and help you understand how you should do the migration. As I was talking about the phased approach, should we go with demand planning, supply planning, what should be done? So we'll be able to look in your system and analyze, study it, and give you a plan how that can be done. So we can have a plan for that. So there is a help support available. Also, as an implementation partner, we can support guiding you in that particular journey.
Okay, we have another question. Can existing APO configurations be directly transferred to SAP IBP?
Not really. It's not like a copy paste because the technologies are different. So as I said, I think this is somehow related to the first answer itself. We can leverage some of the existing developments you have. Let's say you have a specific enhancement in your existing ERP system, which will be also can be used for IBP for, let's say, extracting the data. That can be done. And as I said, we have to look in the system, study about it, and see what works best. So it will be both ways, like looking into the system and checking what all existing functionalities can be leveraged directly, which will save time in the implementation. Also, what we can have to configure separately in the IBP system.
There is one more question. Is this IBP also possible to, I'm not sure if he has written import or important, and where we don't use APO. So this is the question we got.
Yes. No, it's import.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, even if you are using non-SAP systems, it's possible to implement IBP. We can integrate the data with non-SAP systems. We can pull the data and you can push the data from the final, for example, the consensus demand, which is generated in IBP. We can push it to your legacy system or whichever system it is. There are different types of connectivity available, like, for example, the OData connectivity, web services, and CSV files. The worst case, like if you don't have any system where just the data is in some Excel format, even that data can be integrated with IBP.
Okay, so we have another question. Have you done this IBP for any distilleries and also implementation for the same?
Distilleries will fall under FMCG, right? Yeah, we have worked for different FMCGs.
Directly on IBP, but I think we can share that customer references later. Maybe we can share that across. So we have some beverage industry experiences. So I'm not sure whether it was IBP or another implementation related to planning. That details we can share separately, I would say.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Srijith. I'll also add here that we have around 28 industries where we have where customers are leveraging IBP for supply chain planning, including breweries, bottling plants, beverages, as Srijith mentioned. So please do reach out to Westernacher team to us, and we'll be able to guide you to similar industry examples like you are facing. Yes, Sushmita.
Okay, we have another question. IBP cloud or on-premise is possible?
No, IBP is an on-cloud solution. Your on-premise is not also. You can go for public cloud or you can go for non-SAP, like for Google or Amazon or something like that, but it's not on-premise.
Any more questions? Okay, so maybe we can close the session today. A huge thank you to Anchal, Selin, and Srijith for sharing your insights and expertise today. So if you have any questions, please do reach out to Selin and Srijith. Their contact details are mentioned in the slide. And if you want to take the next steps in your supply chain journey, you can reach out to us through our LinkedIn page, or you can visit the Westernacher website for more resources. Thank you once again to all the attendees for joining today's session. And we hope that you found this session insightful and helpful. We will be sending out the recording shortly, and have a great day and see you soon in our next webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.